Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're at in the country or, in the world, sometimes good morning. Thanks for joining us here at the Reloading Podcast, here on the Firearms Radio Network. Once again, we'd just like to thank Jake and the guys over at Firearms Radio Network for sponsoring this lovely, witty repartee. Well, no, it's not a witty repartee. It's just a bunch of bull crap and some good knowledge. So, hopefully you can slog through the bull crap and enjoy the good knowledge. But basically, it's three guys talking about their hobby. So, as we always do, let's start off with what we did in firearms and Second Amendment stuff this week and reloading. I took my boys deer hunting. Went out a couple days this week. The only thing we saw, unfortunately, that was close, Wednesday afternoon we were out. The kids saw one, and they were about to point it out to me, and somebody else shot it. So that was the first one, and then this morning I was set up with one son, and we had a doe come walking in front of us. We had to wait for it to get into a safe shooting area, and as soon as it did, it's like it knew it because it took off running. So once again, that's why it's hunting and not killing, because you don't always necessarily get to harvest game, but it was awesome just being out there. So that's pretty much all I did this week. How about you guys?
Well, I sized up some 223 brass, about 2,000 pieces, and today I got about 700 pieces of that trimmed and chamfered and deburred, getting things ready to go.
How's your carpal tunnel, Jason?
It's it's getting there.
Oh, cranked up fingers.
I actually went to the hardware store and got some of those rubber-coated gloves.
Yeah, man.
So I don't have to hang on to the case that hard. That helped a lot.
Yeah. You talking about like nitrile gloves or cotton dipped gloves?
Cotton dipped. Yeah.
Okay.
It's still got some grip.
Okay. And how are you actually trimming and deburring? With your cordless drill?
No, I have a Frankfurt Arsenal trim case prep center.
Okay.
So it trims off the shoulder.
Okay. So it trims, and then that's right, because it's case prep, it'll also take and deburr and chamfer the cases, correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Excuse me. But anyway, what else you do, bud? Is that it?
I think that was it.
You take anybody hunting or anything like that? Do any shooting?
I did not.
I'll see how you are. You ain't no fun. Got to drag the story out of you every time, you rascal. Anyway, myself, I tell you what, this guy here, he's going to get himself a shout out. I haven't told you or Mike about it, but his name is Railroad DiMeglio. And I like the guy a lot. He's a little bunny rabbit. Lives over around New York City somewhere. And he likes to give away brass. And he sent me about 600 357 cases, about 250 308 cases, and about 250 30-06 cases. And he asked for one thing. He asked me to hang up a bunch of carrots on my front door, take a picture of that same front door, and post it in the reloading room. I think I could do that. I'm not sure, but I think somewhere along the way, somebody wrote a rule that the guy who created that group can do whatever he wants, right?
Right.
There is that rumor.
Yeah, well, whatever. But yeah, the only problem is I don't have any carrots with stems on them. I'll have to take and maybe hang a bag of carrots. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah. You can do that.
Or you know what? How about a can of cooked carrots? Nah, Railroad wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
Thanks, Mike. I love you too.
I'm just saying.
But anyway, no, seriously, that's what the rabbit asked for. He is a rabbit, guys. He really is. And he just asked for that, and that's it. And it's like, he won't even let me pay. He won't even give me a number on the shipping. So wow. It's like, yeah, it's like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Throw the brass away? Not hardly.
Right.
But anyway, that's there's always something a little every day. Oh, that today, a friend of mine came over. He helped me place the gun safe I bought recently, and I took the time to show him how nicely the safe turned out. I opened it up, let him see the contents and all that sort of thing. But I even showed him. I put a little 4-watt light bulb, little electric candle in the bottom of my safe, just to take and create the faintest amount of heat to keep the safe dry, dry on the inside. And I open the safe up at least once or twice a week, so I'm always checking to see if the light bulb is still going.
Right.
Wow. It's interesting.
Yeah. And 4 watts of light, it might take. It takes 250 hours to create 1 kilowatt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. Those go for about 8 cents a piece.
That's not bad.
No, man.
A lot cheaper than running one of those dehumidifiers.
I agree. I quite agree. Anyway. Oh, I take that back. I have been doing something else. I've been listening a little bit more to one of the people, one of the podcasts on, excuse me for banging the table, one of the podcasts on the Firearms Radio Network, and that would be Precision Rifle Podcast. I could tell, let me say it this way. I'm only up to episode 8. Yeah, I'm only up to episode 8.
Okay.
It's like those guys are like us. You could tell in the beginning they were pretty inexperienced, just like us.
Yep.
And they're winging it now, just like us.
Yeah. That's a good podcast. I honestly haven't listened to a lot because it's currently not my area of interest, but yeah, definitely good. I've been listening to the AR-15 podcast a lot because that's going to be my next project. Is I'm building my boys each and myself an AR-15, so that's going to be our fun project over the winter.
Nice.
3 at one time. Well, I know the receivers go for about $80 to $90, but
actually, you can get blemmed from PSA for $50.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Even so, I realize you could do less, but you realize when those rifles are done, they're going to be worth in the neighborhood of $3,000.
Oh yeah.
On the right market, but you're building them yourself, so it's like you're not going to be allowed to sell them until you do the 4473 and serialize them and all that sort of thing.
Oh no, I'm not doing. I was gonna do 80% lowers, but
Right.
At this point in time, I'm gonna hold off on that. I'm gonna do an 80% lower over the summer probably.
So you're going to use registered lowers?
Yeah.
Oh,
now.
okay. Okay.
Yep.
And
Yeah, for the moment I'm gonna.
The price is better on the registered lower because it's blemished?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, PSA has, and excuse me, from what I've heard from a lot of people that have gotten them, just on the forums and stuff, is it's a case of, maybe there's a slight mark here or a slight mark there, or maybe on the picture ones, maybe not all of the bullet is marked out properly, so it's nothing real serious. So, and I may Duracoat or Cerakote them anyway, so it's going to be a moot point.
Are those rifles forged or are they machined from billet?
I want to say that the PSA, I'm not sure actually, on the PSA lowers if they are forged or billet. That's a good question. Let's take a look quick. So,
From my own knowledge, forged is okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But my own personal opinion is if they're machined from billet, you're going to find more tensile strength in the material.
right.
But again, too, the lower receiver doesn't get any pressure, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing that really matters on those is if in the 223-556, it doesn't really matter as long as it's either way. It's the carbon that causes the problem. Those are the ones they have the problem with.
Right. And the only pressure that exists is in the barrel chamber area.
Maybe I'll build myself a 308. Haha. I got a 308 right now for $79.99 lower.
You know what, Mikey? Dad builds a 308 for himself, and the boys get 5.56 for each other. Now that's a family of guns. Think about it, man. That'd be sweet.
I think I'll build a. I think I'm just gonna build a 223 5.56 for now. I might convert it over to 25-45 sharps.
Yeah, family of guns. Nothing like it.
Yeah, you know, if I don't build the 308 now, it just gives me a reason to build them later. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking here. I don't see the. That's it.
What do you think, Jason? 5.56 and 308?
5.56 sure would be a lot cheaper to reload for.
Oh, you old curmudgeon, you. You're so cheap it ain't funny. Notice, folks, I didn't say Jason's wrong, because he isn't.
So, are you saying that he's Jack Benny cheap?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you know, as long as we have a reference, then,
Mm.
you know.
Those 308 projectiles are kind of spendy.
Yeah, they kind of are.
What is that, FMJ?
No, that's 155 grain AMAX. Molly coated, though.
Oh, is that why the tip is black?
Yeah, it's a Molly coated.
Yeah, the camera's not picking it up.
Stupid camera. Come on, work.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Anyway, you'll get to see it later. So, and for those of you who don't know Jack Benny, go Google it. I'm pretty sure most of our listeners will know Jack Benny, but
Probably.
No, not unless they're my age. And I don't know many men at my age that
I am not older than dirt, and I know Jack Benny, so that shoots your theory in the hole.
No, I wasn't a theory. It was an opinion.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go.
Of course, too, speaking of older than dirt, there he is sipping his coffee.
You got 10 years on me, brother.
That's all right. I might have 10 years on you, but you're still older than dirt.
He may resemble that remark. Nope.
Yeah. Now Mike and I both are taking stabs at you, Jason.
Yep.
Hold on a second. Oh, yeah, I'm still wet behind the ears.
Oh, jeez. That was lame, hunk, groan. Oh, no. Finish your search, Mike, or else we need to get started on the podcast.
Machined.
Machine from billet. Okay. That's a good receiver. That's a better receiver than the forged.
Oh, no, they are. That doesn't make sense. It says our receivers are machined on a multi-million-dollar automated manufacturing system, which enables us to produce product of unequaled quality and value. These forged lowers, so they're forged.
Yeah, okay. That's the basic metal, but what they do, they're machining, they're drilling the holes and stuff. That's considered machining.
Yeah. So.
Cutting the threads, drilling the holes, that's all machining.
So yeah, right now, PSA $49.99.
There you go, forgings.
Yep. So, and they're even California legal. Ha! How about that, gang?
I'm going to not going to comment.
So, all right. So last week we covered priming and we covered charging. So this week, and no, it's not talking about basketball or what your wife does to your credit card. This week we're talking about seating.
Oh, Mike, you're not Jack Benny.
Nope.
Nor are you Benny Goodman. Nor are you Rodney Dangerfield.
I'm not even Benny Hill, so.
Right. Quit with the one-liners.
I am. Yeah, I can't think of anybody that. Yeah. So.
Anyway.
All right. So what we're talking about tonight.
Priming.
Yep, priming. So what we're talking about is we're actually going to be doing seating. So what we want to do is we want to take our camera and move it over here so everybody can see. It's kind of important. See what we're doing here. Okay.
Can you tip it? Yeah, thank you. Down a little bit. It's like I can hardly see. Good.
Now is that because you couldn't see or because you need glasses?
No, because Jason's big head's in the way.
All right.
I've got a lot of brain in there, Jim.
Yeah, but you never do anything with it.
Wow. That's tough. All right. Moving right along. So take my priming or my decapping and sizing die out. So we don't need that anymore. And notice how I started off with that. Didn't touch the jam nut, so that way next time I go to put it in, it'll be good to go. And now, what we want to decide is which bullet seating die we want. So.
You notice, folks, that Mike doesn't have to change the shell holder.
Nope. So, we're just going to go with the regular bullet seating die. There are different options that you can do. There's the regular, which is a full length, and then there is just the smaller set, which will actually do a crimp at the same time. But we want just the regular plain old die, or bullet seating die, so we don't put the extra crimp in.
Mike, do you ever take and lightly snug up on that aluminum nut?
Yeah.
No, I meant with a tool.
Oh, no, not usually.
Okay.
I usually do everything by hand. That way I can take it back off by hand and it's all set.
Okay. Do you ever put witness marks on your die with a Sharpie to take and hold the alignment?
I do. Okay. I did that in my 40s. On this I haven't, but I get them tight enough so they're not moving with my fingers. So I guess I've never really worried about that.
Okay, thank you.
It's one of those, if you don't have a lot of hand strength, then that's definitely something I'd recommend. But I don't have, I can bump this and it doesn't turn. So, you know, it's pretty snug on there. Now, if it's the first time I'm setting it, sometimes I'll just use the wrench to hold the nut while I'm turning it, but nothing else than that. So, this is that projectile we were talking about earlier. It's this one here is 155 grain, moly coated, so it's molybdenum. I think I slaughtered that, but it's a moly lubricant. So what it is, it's supposed to help with reducing friction as it's going down the barrel, therefore increasing velocity.
Boy, that moly coat sure makes that look like a totally metal jacketed bullet.
Doesn't it?
It does.
So
I believe it's called molybdenum, isn't it?
Like I said, I may have slaughtered it. So this one's got a boat tail. The nice thing about boat tails is it's sloped down here. What that does is that helps with the aerodynamics. So as it's going through flight, the air comes across the back of the bullet and it doesn't buffet it. There's nothing sticking out here to slow it down.
It's my understanding that originally the boat tail bullet was created to take and help ammunition manufacturers and bullet makers with reloading. Boy, that's a better focus. But
Yeah.
help with bullet seating. And it turns out that the boat tail happened to be a benefit of, you know, a side benefit for shooters.
Oh, well, that wouldn't surprise me. And so what Jim's talking about by a help is it helps you to go into the case easier.
Right.
So it'll actually sit in the case and not wobble as much. If it was the full size the whole way, then it would sit up like this.
Yeah, flat base.
Yeah. If it was a full, regular flat base, then it would sit up here, and it would kind of wobble around really much. So what you wind up doing is holding it with one hand while you're bringing the ram down with the other, and that's not a good situation because sometimes what happens, that bullet flies off, and all of a sudden your finger's there, and you bring this ram up like that, and the next thing you know, well, you've got something like that on your finger, except for it's not just finger colored, it's bleeding and all messy and everything. So we want to avoid that if we can. So that's kind of the other advantage of boat tails, is it's a safety feature because it allows you to set the bullet in there, and you don't have to have it straight. That's kind of a misnomer. When you bring the ram up, it will actually straighten out the bullet and seat it in a straight manner.
Okay, now, Mike, how did you know how long to seat that bullet?
Well, this is a die I've been using for quite some time.
Oh, you had it set ahead of time.
Yes, I did. Now, normally what you would have to do if you hadn't cheated like I did and used the die setup before and had it marked, what you would wind up doing is this knob up here is actually for setting the seating depth. You set up the whole die like you would most of your other ones. You set it in, tighten it down, so on and so forth, a little extra. And then this actually controls how far down into the case the bullet's seated. So you still have your cartridge overall length that you have to deal with. You have, beyond that, if it is a rifle that is anything other than a single shot, so it has some sort of magazine, whether it's a detachable box or it's a internal box, something along that lines, you're going to wind up having an issue of it not fitting in the magazine. So you're going to have to check that. This one's here I just made up as a dummy round for the sake of the show, and that's a good idea to do so you can do the testing. What I'm showing you now is it's an empty primer pocket. There's no primer in here. There's no powder in here. So it's a great way to find out whether it's going to fit where it needs to fit.
Mike?
Yes.
As an aside to what you just said, using like M14s or AR-10 magazines,
yeah.
Any semi-auto rifle today is box magazine fed. The maximum cartridge length that Mike would have to hold would be 2 and 8/10, 2.810. And if it were me, I would probably seat him at 2.805, and I wouldn't go any shorter than that until I was. That would be to start. Excuse me. That would be to start, and the reason why what I'm saying is my rifle might like it a little bit longer. If that's the case, I have to single feed them.
Yeah.
If it's a bolt gun, I could probably get away with 100 thousandths longer than that, depending upon the throat of my rifle. But like Mike said, if you're going inside of like a Remington 700, which has a built-in magazine, you have to start out at the maximum cartridge overall length, 2.810 thousandths.
So.
And I'll bet you Mike is within a few thousandths of 2 and 8/10.
No, this one's a bit shorter because my magazine on my Tika T3 is actually a little smaller. So to make it so it fits in there, I actually have it a whole 1/10 of an inch shorter.
I believe that was 780.
That was 277.
Okay.
So almost a full 1/10 of an inch shorter.
Okay, well, what you'd have to take and remember on that, folks, is shortening up cases like that, unless you're doing load development, stuff like that, you have to take and watch your pressure, because that will increase the pressure in Mike's cartridges.
Yep. And that was something that I had to take into account when I was doing that. And so, therefore, my powder charge isn't anywhere near max for multiple reasons. First and foremost, because I have to be wary of the charge because I'm actually seating the bullet deeper. Give you an idea of how deep the bullet's actually seated. Here they are side by side, so you can see it's well past the shoulder.
Oh yeah, but it's interesting. The intersection of the heel and the shank of the bullet is right at the base of the neck. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, like I said, this is what I've got set for my particular rifle, and I am hand loading for my rifle for a specific purpose. So just like your precision rifle shooters are going to do, they're going to set that up different. Now my first load was a lot longer because I wanted it to actually touch the lands and grooves in the rifling. But unfortunately, due to the magazine size, I was handicapped in that, and I refused to single load it because I'm not bench rest shooting at the current moment. So now, if I say I did want to change that seating depth, I didn't, for whatever reason, it wouldn't fit with the powder charge I've got, and I was still going to be under pressure. What you can do is you actually turn this counterclockwise, and then you'll notice as I bring the ram up, and then I hold these two next to each other, you can physically see one's taller than the other.
Oh yeah, the one on the left is quite a bit taller.
Yeah, so and it's just that easy. Now the nice thing is you can always start out tall and go shorter. You can't go shorter and you can't start out short and try and go taller without pulling the whole bullet and then starting over. Now see this one, 2.815. So
that's pretty close to specified overall length.
Right. So say I don't want it quite like that. I've got this like this. I need to go a little shorter because it's just barely catching on the front of the magazine, and I don't really want to do it. But I want to keep it as long as I can because I'm trying for a little more accuracy. So you just literally just do a smidge, run that back up in there. It's going to move that bullet down just a hair. And if you still don't have, and this is where it's handy to have that digital caliper.
Oh yeah.
Throw it back on here and keep measuring until you get to where you want to be.
Yeah, in this case.
And you may notice the first couple times you don't actually get a difference because you're not really turning it much. See, I only moved in the whole adjustment. I only moved it down 0.02 of an inch, so that wasn't much. So you can graduate these so you can tell what's a half turn, what's a quarter turn. I don't because I just pay attention when I'm turning it. But that's kind of the tricks and stuff that you can do. And as long as you're not putting a crimp on it, you can continue to move it down. Now see, now I moved it down 1/100th. So it's 2.802. So that whole half turn is a 100th of an inch of movement. And you can just keep going until you get your desired length.
And it's interesting. We specified 2 and 810, and yet I'm looking at bullets in here, bullet weights in this Spear Reloader number 14.
Yeah.
I'm looking at COAL, collective cartridge overall length, 2 and 360 for a oh Gemini Christmas. What's this bullet weight? 100 grain bullet for 30 caliber, which is going to be a half jacketed bullet, and it's going to be that booger is going to be a short little thing.
Well, right here is the specs that come with the Lee dies that's sitting here, and you can see just even under the 180 grain, under a 180 grain bullet with the different powders, there's different lengths.
Oh yeah.
So that is telling you that because of those different powders, you're going to have different pressures, and you better make sure you're at that length, because if you change that length and you shorten that length up from what they're specifying,
you're on your own. You're going
to have some problems. So that's something that you really need to pay attention. That's the nice thing with the Lee dies. I don't know if Hornady does it or RCBS does it or not.
No, they don't. But in the reloading manual, they do. Now, this is a page out of the Spirit number 14. You can see all of these all 5 bullets are 180 grain, and they have quite a bit of data here. And they talk about there's a cartridge overall length in there somewhere.
Yeah. So cartridge overall length matters, not just because it's going to fit in the magazine, but it also matters because of what powder you're using. And if you're using the wrong powder, you say you're whipping up something that you think will work, and you grab a powder that isn't normally used for that bullet weight, and you throw it together, and you try and say it's a little faster burning powder, and you pack that thing full, you could easily have some problems.
Yes,
Here,
sir.
Jim, there we go.
Yeah, the cartridge overall length tested. I'll move slowly.
Yeah.
And it's a 2 and 5/80, and that's for that particular bullet right there.
Yeah.
Notice it'll be quite a bit shorter than the Spitzer point right here, with
Right.
the battail and all that. And I think that cartridge, yeah, you could actually see the two different lengths.
Yeah, you're talking 3/10 of an inch almost difference between
Yes,
the
sir.
two.
Yes, sir.
So it's huge. You do have to pay attention to that. It is very important. So I can't just go like this, take my brass, throw it in here, take a bullet, say I'm setting up this, get it set, I crank it down, then I do a little more, and then I turn this all the way down. I can't just do that. Because if I don't meet the cartridge length specifications, and I got this stuffed all the way down here like this. Oh, yeah, you can't see it. Haha. Now you can. So I get this stuffed all the way down in here like this.
Basically, that cartridge is scrap.
I just compacted that load.
Heavily.
You thought it was short before.
Yeah, you compacted it heavily.
Now we're talking even more.
Hold it up a little higher, Mike. I can't see it. Thank you, sir.
So now I got it short even more. So this is
right. I know Mike will take that apart later on, but right now, essentially, that cartridge that he overseeded is scrap.
Yeah. These are all coming apart anyway because they're, like I said, they're blanks. It's 2.675. So I have, for my load that I have, it's 277. And this is at 2.6. So I just compacted that powder, and that's going to cause a problem.
And by the way, folks, my data is coming from the same page Mike is talking, not same page, same caliber that Mike's talking about, because I knew from experience that Mike's talking about seeding bullets in his 308 Winchester brass. That's why I pulled my data from the 308 Winchester page in my spear number 14.
So the load that I actually used for this was Varget, and it's 44 grains, and the minimum overall length on that is 2.775. So that's important. That's why you want to pay attention to that overall length. And that's why they say the minimum overall length, because you have to have it at least that long, or you're going to run into issues where, like Jim said, like I said, you're going to blow the cartridge apart. Now, with a bolt action rifle, there's a chance you may not get hurt. There's a small chance, but there's a chance with a bolt action rifle, depending on who made it, how long ago they made it, what sort of over-engineering they've done to it. But more than likely, you're probably going to get hurt in some way, shape, or form. If it's a semi-automatic, forget about it. You're going to have some serious problems. That bolt's going to come slamming back into stuff that's not designed to handle that much pressure. It's going to come apart on you. And more than likely, if it's an AR, especially an AR platform, that bolt comes slamming back and goes right back through the back of the receiver. And then you've got all the other parts that come apart. So really pay attention to that minimum overall length. That goes for handguns too. If you have a cartridge that's shorter than your minimum overall length, it can cause problems. Revolvers, it can cause the gun to go out of time, not to mention blowing the top strap off and blowing the cylinder out. With semi-autos, it'll blow the slide apart. Go look on YouTube. You can find lots of videos where idiots have blown up guns. So it's not pretty. So obviously, this last one here, I put it way too short. So now what I want to do is, like I said, you can always start too long and go shorter. So I don't know what I need to be at, so I want to crank this back out. and then I'm going to bring that ram up and check it. You know, it's barely seated in there, so obviously I need to go down a bit. So, you know I need to go down quite a bit, so I'm going to throw a full turn at it. And you can just keep doing this. When you've done reloading for a while, and you've reloaded a specific cartridge a lot, you kind of get an eyeball for what's kind of close. However, kind of close doesn't cut it. And even Jim and Jason will agree with me. When you're setting up that die, get your calipers out, check that cartridge overall length. Don't trust your eyeball to it, because you may think it looks close, and it's not. And you maybe shucked it down too far.
Did your press just squeak?
Yep.
Oh, merciful heaven! Get some oil on that thing, Bubba.
Yeah, I know. I just put some on there.
I know. I
Smartest.
have to tease you. It's like you're getting so serious. I got to break it up a little bit.
Yeah. So.
That wasn't the ram squeaking. I'll tell you that right now. And it's still not squeaking, or still not the ram squeaking.
No, I know it's down below. I'll have to get that
It's
later.
actually, I know what it is. It's your wallet.
No, my wallet coughs. It doesn't squeak. It coughs because there's so much dust in it, and there's not actually any
Oh,
money.
is that how that goes?
Yeah. Driver carries no cash.
Okay.
All right, so I've been tossing this a little bit here, and I'm, getting kind of eyeball close. So I want to grab my caliper and check it, and I'm still off. I'm at 2 point. Okay, so it looks like my battery's going dead in my caliper. Ah, dang, no extra battery. Jim, you know what that problem's like.
Yeah, I still didn't get my new batteries.
I'll have to go grab some too. So, yeah, this caliper's dead. So, that's the important thing is make sure you have extra batteries, and I don't.
Yeah.
So.
Do you happen to have a pair of dial calipers, Mike?
No, I do not. I have not had the money to spend on a decent pair, and I refuse to buy a cheap pair of dial calipers because I've seen some dial calipers that don't work very well because they are cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I've seen dial calipers made from plastic.
Yeah, that too.
Folks, you get the idea of what we're trying to tell you. You got to watch your lengths. It's a certain size you've got to meet. For one, to fit in the gun. For number two, you got to take and consider the pressures. We're dealing with 55,000 upwards.
There's
55,000.
There's some 308 loads that are north of 60,000 60,000 cup.
Yep.
So, and
what Mike just said, cup. It's actually an acronym for copper units of pressure, and it turns out that the copper units of pressure is pretty much an obsolete term. It's almost the dead-on equivalent of PSI, pounds per square inch. And that's just a little tidbit of trivia for you guys.
Yeah, Lee still uses cups in their last reloading manuals, so
okay,
that's what I've been used to. I think they're finally slowly changing over to PSI too, but so yeah, you definitely don't want to overpressure, and like we said, if you throw the wrong length and you shorten that cartridge up too much, you can very easily increase that chamber pressure to well beyond what that firearm will handle and not even realize it until you pull the trigger. And by then it's too late. So the biggest thing with bullet seating, check that overall length. That's out of the camera.
Yeah, your focus is a little soft, Mike.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure you just haven't been drinking?
I'm
going with that theory.
I'm only allowed one a day.
Oh, okay.
And I've already had it.
You just got to make sure it's a big one. See?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's only water.
Is that all the bigger you drink?
Well, it's a warm-up. I'm allowed 2.
Okay.
Oh,
Jason,
that
you
does
got
remind
anything
me
to
of a
add?
story, though. When
Jason, you got anything to add, bud?
No, sir.
I think that pretty much
I know what
covers
I
it.
wanted to take and bring up. If you
Yes.
don't mind, if you guys don't mind.
Yes.
I got a private message from a young chap today. I'm not going to use his last name, but his first name is Zach. And he sent me a message clear out of the blue. And he says, Jim, I'm still somewhat new to reloading. How can I adjust the neck tension on my full-length die? It's not a bushing type. I'm seeing a little bit of copper shaving and could use a little less tension. Well, what I told him was try a larger expander ball. And he gave me a thumbs up, said, thanks, Jim. All due manners and courtesy. Mike, could you bring out or pull that expander ball out of your your resizing die? Okay, what I'm talking about is probably going, while Mike's doing that, is a little bit of custom work from RCBS or Lee or Lyman or whatever, or Redding. Redding will do it. Redding will make you a hell of a good expander ball. But what I'm talking about is the expander ball. Okay. Mike, are you in pain?
No. Just trying to loosen it, because remember, I tightened it down really good.
That was your expander ball or your decapping rod? That's your expander ball. Okay. Now, if you would hold that up, please.
Yeah, it's all one on the leads, so.
Okay. Now, show me the expansion part, Mike, with your pointer finger. Once you get the camera to focus on it.
All right. So.
Back up a little bit.
Come on, camera. Really?
Okay. Well, folks, what we're talking about is the actual small angle, the sort of gray shaded area that Mike's touching. That is about 304, 303 diameter. There it is. Perfect focus, Mike. Perfect focus. Nice and sharp. But anyway, that diameter is about 303, 302 through 304 in diameter, and that's actually what sets your neck tension. What Zach was asking me about is buying a part that is custom made, but yet it would take and give you maybe a .306 diameter expander ball, and that would be pretty hard to get, but Zach, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, Jim.
That's a bit of custom work here. Go ahead, Jason, please.
You said he wanted it because he had some brass shavings?
Right.
When seating the bullet?
I will believe so, yes, sir.
Okay.
But I see where you're going already. I
Okay.
made a mistake of assuming that he has already deburred his case mouth on the inside. Yep. Zach, that's another important issue that my friend Jason brought up, is you must make sure your case mouth is deburred on the inside. Not deburred well, but deburred adequately. Probably a little flat, maybe 2-3 thousandths is enough to help funnel that bullet into the, yes, thank you, Mike. That's right.
This is a case deburr.
Mike, hold it in 90-degree profile if you don't mind. Show me the cone, yes.
Come on, focus. I hate you.
Now, what that is a case mouth deburring tool, that end of it. Yep. Back up a little bit. There you go. Whoa. Right about there. And now yep, you see that? That actually scrapes a small little 45-degree chamfer on the inside. And the inside of it is designed for the outside of the case, but whatever. But that's what I'm talking about right there. Zach is perfect focus. And now, Mike, how wide is that flat? Can you tell by now? Is it 1 or 2 thousandths or 3 or 4?
Yeah, it's,
By
it's
flat,
probably 1 or 2.
Folks, what I'm talking about by the flat is the flat area created by the tool Mike uses. It's actually at a bit of an angle. Can't see a thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, about 6-8 inches, a little further away. Yeah, turn it to give me about a 45-degree angle. There we go. That's better. That little flat, the little shiny spot right there, you got to make sure it's in there to help funnel the bullet into your cartridge. Okay, and that, Zach, try that first. If not, then you'll have to take in probably the fastest thing for you to do would be to buy a 311 expander ball and work it down with your file or sandpaper in your drill press, rather than ordering something custom from RCBS or Lee or Lyman or Redding. It'll probably be faster and cheaper.
But if you're not chamfering, make sure you do that first. That's your cheap, easy fix.
Yep. Yep, you're right. That's more practical than what I said.
And we depend on neck tension for constants when we're reloading, because that constant is what gives us our good groups.
Yep.
You know what? When we get this, Mike, when this gets up, I'll have to take and get the link for this podcast and make sure Zach gets it, because I don't know, we're what, 50 minutes into it now?
Yep.
I'll have to tell Zach to listen to this particular part of the podcast. Start at about 45 minutes and move on.
Yeah. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting that pin back in. And you really want a horse on it, because if you don't, you'll get a surprise the next time you run a case up in there.
But what he did earlier is he actually pushed his expander ball spindle clear up and out of the die.
Yep.
Mike, do you ever take and wipe off that spindle when you cinch it down like that? Do you ever wipe it off, make sure all the lube is off of it?
Yeah. Yep, I do.
By the way, thanks for demonstrating that with your equipment, Mike. Appreciate that.
No problem. That's what I'm happy to do. So
Mine was horsed down so tight yesterday I shattered the pin.
that's a little too tight. just a wee bit. So, I know that everybody has been waiting, and we said that we were going to do the drawing for the 80% lower tonight. Unfortunately, I did not get the spreadsheet needed like I needed to, so that we could do that fairly. So we are going to extend that out a week and do the drawing next Sunday.
Are we going to accept any more entries?
We are not.
Good.
So the contest did end today, so anybody that has done it has already signed up is cool. Anybody that signed up after the show started at 8:05 Central won't be eligible. So everybody who did follow the instructions and signed up like they were supposed to will be in the drawing for the 80% lower and the lanyard and the 223 keychain. So anybody who signed up after 8:05 Central is not eligible. So sorry for delaying that a week, but I wanted to make sure we got it done right and make sure we got everybody that was on the list, that was subscribed, onto the list. So we didn't forget anybody, and I couldn't guarantee that, so that's why we didn't do that tonight. One thing we do ask, this is our second week with the new microphones. Please give us some feedback. Let us know how we sound. Just, let us know if the voice quality's gotten better. I know listening to it, it does sound better, but we definitely want to get your feedback. So shoot us an email at reloading@firearmsradio.tv. Leave us a review on iTunes. Go to reloadingpodcast.com. There's a comment page on there. You can shoot us a comment. Leave us a Facebook or Google Plus comment on either of the pages there. So just let us know.
Mike, don't forget to mention the affiliate buttons.
That was next on my list.
Sorry to interrupt.
And the reason we have the new sound equipment is because of all of you fine folks out there going to Amazon, going to Brownells via the Reloading Podcast webpage, and using the affiliate links. And that's going to continue to help cover the bandwidth for the show, and also to be able to slowly but surely help us upgrade so we can continue to get you better quality. We're working on trying to get a better video feed so that it's a little more reliable. That's one of the things we're working on now, that we've got the audio quality better. We're trying to get the video quality better so we can bring you a lot better product That's our goal. It's been our goal since day one, but we've kind of been, just building this as we go, and none of us are independently wealthy, so it's a as we go thing. So we appreciate everybody that tunes in, everybody that does give a shout out, and like we always say, if you have a question, send us a message. You can reach any of us by Facebook or Google Plus, or the quickest way to get an answer is go to the Reloading Room on Facebook. That is
right there's a private message that the man sent me, and it's like we answer questions. That's what we do.
Yeah. Whether it's through the podcast, which we covered tonight, we wanted to make sure we covered that on the tonight. We have in the past we've done just question shows. We'll probably do one in a couple weeks where we come up with, a link in or a post in the Reloading Room and on the Reloading podcast page, where you all can send in questions you want answered, and we'll answer them. We've done that for a couple shows, and we'll do that again soon. So we try to do that every couple months to catch the stuff in between. And the next thing we're going to look at doing is we're going to start going into multi-stage presses. So
excuse me, what about storage?
Storage, that's next week.
Okay.
Storage is next week.
Okay, good.
So we'll do storage next week, and then after that we're going to start a series on multi-stage reloading presses, which is a whole different ballgame from what we've been doing with the single stage.
Oh boy, I just put up a post in the Reloading Room about the podcast being live, and
Yeah.
my wife got in on it. So Jason, I have a feeling she's defending you and Mike from me. No, there's no such thing as spousal loyalty.
Yeah, I guess not.
Oh my.
Don't feel bad, Jim. My wife would do the same thing. So.
Oh, jeez.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I gotta see this.
Uh-oh.
I gotta see this. Oh boy, this is too much. The suspense is killing me. We all gotta go look at this.
Yeah, we're gonna check this out quick.
Oh my.
Come on.
My screen won't scroll fast enough. Uh-oh. Jason, you want me to whack Jim for you for picking on you all the time? Just say the word, bro.
Wow.
Marissa, come here. Come make a cameo, honey. Come here, dear. I want you to see this. My wife is 15 inches shorter than me, and I outweigh her by about 140 pounds, and she's going to lay me flat just for you, Jason.
Oh, man.
Oh, yes, and Jason, you bastard. Yes, please. Use a ball bat to get his attention. Or in your case, Jason, here we go. That's for you. 2 thumbs up. And then it's like, I have a ball bat.
Oh wow.
Oh my.
And those of you who are tuning into the video podcast,
Oh, Mike
you
is now
actually get
going
to see the post. Yep, there it is.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh.
Oh, that's funny.
Spousal loyalty is non-existent. Well, if you want to say something, come in here and get on the podcast.
And bring a bat with you.
Jason wants you to bring your ball bat. Right here, honey. Uh-oh, she's bringing the damn bat. If it's not a bat, it's going to be a rolling pin. You better hurry, honey. For 10,000 folks.
Reminds me of that rolling pin. Reminds me of that Vince Gill song. One More Last Chance.
Yeah.
Where she's got a book in her left hand and a rolling pin in her right.
Mm-hmm. And it's like she forgot. She took away his car keys, but she forgot about his old John Deere.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, great song.
Uh-oh, the ball bat's in the camper, but you know what? Look, guys, come on in. Come on in. She got the roll, guys. She got the roll. Oh, my. Oh, come here, honey. Here we go, guys. Ah! Oh, talk about slapstick comedy. Soupy says
attitude adjuster.
attitude adjuster.
There you go. That's what he needs.
Soupy
Yep.
Sales will be proud of y'all. Soupy
Oh, yeah.
Sales will be proud of all of us.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Jake wants to see that. Tough, Jake. We like it the way it is.
Oh, now he's going to have to contact his lawyers about this show. Dang it.
That was good.
Yeah, it was. Well, I guess until next week, that pretty much calls it a wrap. Unless you guys have anything further to add.
No, just keep your powder dry and aim well.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Keep your powder dry, aim well. And remember,
See you, folks.
squeeze, don't jerk that trigger. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Ah, he's gone. He'll be back. Hopefully. No, Jake. Oh, good show, guys, and I'm glad there was no blood. Mark Rinaldi. Oh, geez, good. He just watched the damn show. Oh, Mike, you're missing something. Come back here, you bum. Anyway, no, I will get. You know what, Jason? In case there's any tax or anything bullshit like that, or any incidental expenses, and we'll send Mike $11. Why don't you do the same thing?
Okay.
That way, hopefully, we get the best software, recording software possible for Skype.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, because I tell you what, I didn't want to come to Hangouts tonight. Oh, wait a minute, we're live. Oops.
Oops.
We have to wait for Mike. We got to get him.
Yeah, he's back.
I see it. Mike, listen. There's about 30 seconds of stuff you need to get off the end of this podcast. Yeah, Mike, you need to get off. You need to take and cut off about 30 seconds of the podcast. You'll find it.
Yep.
But it's just stuff that we should not go over the air. We're still live, Mike.
Yeah, I'm trying to kill it. It won't let me.
Okay, it says FYSA, Mike Rinaldi, for your something special attention. For your special attention, you guys are still live on YouTube.
It won't let me kill it. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, it won't let me kill it. So, try everybody hang up.
You want to come back?
No, just try and hang up and see if it kills it.
All right.
Okay.